A very warm welcome to the top three qualifiers for the FIA Formula One Canadian Grand Prix. In third place, Oscar Piastri. In second place, Max Verstappen. And taking the sixth pole position of his F1 career and his second in a row here in Canada, our pole sitter, George Russell. Two in a row, George. What an incredible final lap. Just how sweet was it, first of all?
Yeah, honestly, it was probably the most exhilarating lap I've ever done in my life, because around this circuit, you've got to be so committed. It's not easy. It's quite bumpy. It's so easy to make a mistake. And, I think I almost ran 7/10 on that last lap. Every corner I was going to attempt faster. And it was just like the car was on rails. I just felt in such a rhythm. And, crossing the line when you do a lap like that, to get pole position afterwards as well was just insane. So I had goosebumps in that moment, because I don't think I've ever had goosebumps after a pole position or a good result. And I think that one meant a lot to me.
Talk to me. Look, what difference did the medium tyre make?
I think that was definitely the faster tyre today. We've seen it a few times before. The qualifying was a tricky session. It was the people who were at the front, it was always variable. In Q1, I was further down the order. Then Q2, I had a good lap. And first run in Q3, I was a bit off the pace, 3 or 4 attempts off, and it felt like a good lap as well. But the medium really gave him that bit of extra confidence. But I think the gap still to Oscar on the soft was still almost 3/10. So I'm not saying I'd have been able to do just as good a lap on the soft, but the medium's definitely not 3/10 better than the soft. So I think whatever tyre we had on for that lap, it would have been the one.
Was the track still ramping up in Q3, still getting better?
I think so. Every lap you do, the track's always going faster and faster, and especially on a circuit like this, which is a street track, it's a little bit windy, so you get a bit of dust on the circuit between the sessions. And that's why it's always that very last lap in Q3 that counts, and that's when, doesn't matter how the whole weekend goes. And we'd been having a really strong weekend up until qualifying, so the pressure's on. It's sort of, if you don't perform as well as he did in practice, is a bit of an underperformance, but obviously getting that result was mega.
Let's throw it forward then to the race. There are a lot of variables to focus on. What do you think are going to be the biggest challenges for you?
Right now, I'm not too sure, to be honest. We had a good race pace on Friday, but it depends on the temperature. We were, in practice, it was 5 degrees cooler than it was today, and the car was easily in its sweet spot. Now it can easily go the other way tomorrow in the race. If the sun comes out, it's a 2 o'clock race. It was a 4 o'clock qualifying today. That makes quite a bit of difference. So it's not going to be an easy race. And of course, got some really quick guys around me. We don't know if it's going to be a 1-stop or a 2-stop. So it won't be straightforward.
And after what happened in Spain last time out, do you feel you can lean on Max going into turn 1? Yeah,
well, I think obviously we're both fighting for the win here, and neither of us are really in a championship battle. I haven't had a win this year, so I want to get one on the board. Time will tell.
All right. Very well done today. Good luck tomorrow. Max, let's bring it to you. Great qualifying session for you as well. Was there anything left in the car or the lap that could have made a difference in Q3 then?
No.
Talk us through the session then. It seemed to get better and better. Certainly that first run in Q3, Sector 1 in particular.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I made progress every qualifying. We planned it with the medium like that, and everything worked well. So I'm happy with that.
All right, let's throw it forward then. How racy does the car feel over a long stint?
It felt okay yesterday. I mean, I was fairly happy with the car. You just need to look after the tires. There was a bit of graining for everyone yesterday, so we'll try to keep that under control for tomorrow, also with the warmer temperatures.
Okay, now you said a moment ago that you want a solid race is what you're looking for tomorrow. What does that mean for you? What is a solid race for you tomorrow?
I think being on the podium, trying to be as competitive as we can be, trying to extract the most out of the car, but I don't know, we'll probably find out after the race if we did so, but yeah, hopefully we can just be good on tire management.
And Max, the penalty points thing, you're alongside George.
I don't need to hear it again. It's really pissing me off. I mean, you speaking about it on Thursday, it's such a waste of time. It's very childish. So that's why I also don't want to say too much, because it's really annoying, this world that we live in.
Okay. No change from you. Good luck. Well done today. Oscar, let's come to you now. Great job as well. Look, how do you sum up qualifying from your point of view?
Much better than practice, that's for sure. I mean, honestly, I'm quite happy here in P3. After all the practice sessions, I was struggling. Obviously, I didn't have a smooth session this morning, and everything just felt more back to normal. In qualifying, everything came alive again. So, there'll always be the question: should we have gone for a medium at the end? But I think with how we'd been going in practice, having just a clean run on the same compound seemed like the best idea for us, and honestly, I think it worked well. So honestly, pretty happy.
Can you just elaborate on the decision not to take the medium? How close was it? Was it a live decision? Did you make that call just before Q3, or was it something that you decided before the session?
We always kept it on the table, but I don't think we were ever that, or I certainly wasn't ever that tempted. Like I said, practice was pretty miserable. So I just wanted to have a clean run through qualifying, not introduce any variables that could have made things even more difficult. And that's what we stuck to. And I think it's been a strength of ours so far this year, is sticking to our guns and doing what we think is best for us. Would we have been on pole position on a medium? Maybe. But, there's also the risk that it goes wrong and you end up worse than we are now. So I'm pretty happy in third.
Because the car came alive for you in qualifying. You've just said that. Can you challenge these guys for the win?
I think so. Again, Friday didn't look great in any run, but I think I certainly feel more comfortable now than I did this morning and yesterday. And our pace on race day is generally where we're strong. These two next to me were very quick in the race runs yesterday, so it's certainly not going to be a slam dunk win, but I think we're definitely in the fight.
All right, thank you very much for that. Let's open this to the floor. Have we got any questions? Yes. Who's first? Luke, please.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. For George, you've talked up McLaren's pace quite a lot this season. So are you surprised that you're going into tomorrow's race with a real chance of fighting against Oscar? Or do you think it's going to be a case of, what pitch are you expecting versus McLaren tomorrow?
I think, as I mentioned before, it really depends on these temperatures. At the moment, the tyres aren't really overheating. And any circuits we go to where the tyres aren't overheating, such as here, such as Vegas last year, we performed really well. And McLaren, we saw them yesterday, they were really on the back foot. So it depends tomorrow. As I said, it's something literally as simple as it clouding over could give us a 2/10 advantage over McLaren. Or if the sun comes out, that sort of neutralizes everything. So I'd love to say something more than that. It's a little bit out of our hands right now, but regardless of the conditions, we're obviously starting in the best place.
Thanks, George. Next, who we got? Ed, please.
Ed Straw from the race. Oscar, you had the option, I think, to run the suspension upgrade, but decided not to. Can you just explain the reasoning from that? And is that a part you expect to help you if you use it in the future, or you're not so worried about it?
I'm not that concerned, really. I'm obviously not going to get into too much detail on it, but I could have run it if I wanted to, and I didn't, really. So, it changes some things. Some things are better, some things are worse. It's not as simple, it's not an upgrade, it's a different part. So, I had the option to run it, but chose not to. I've been happy with how the car's been so far this year, and again, just wanted to keep consistency.
Thanks for that. Any more? Yep.
Hi, Mark Manbrines from Autosport. Question for George. As someone who knows him and with your GPDA hat maybe, just wanted to ask about Derek Warwick being suspended from stewarding duty this weekend, and if you thought maybe stewards should be allowed to talk to the media, or is it a bit of a conflict of interest, do you think?
We're obviously all open to have our own views, and I think, what Derek said, I don't think it probably offended anybody, hence why we're going to see him back. And principally, I think these days, every word you say gets scrutinized, and that's just the nature of the game we're in. So we also have to remember the stewards, volunteers, they don't make an income from stewarding. They have a life outside of Formula One as well. We all speak to media in the paddock. So if it was anything more than his sort of temporary, not ban, but his temporary avoidance of stewarding this weekend, I think anything more than that would have been a bit OTT. So yeah.
Thank you. Any more? Yep.
Also for George, Stu Cowan, Montreal Gazette. George, is there anything you learned or experienced from starting on the pole here last year that can help you tomorrow?
Yeah, the one thing, and always Montreal, you just can't discount the weather or, things happening on track. It's a street track. You got to fight until the last lap of the race, and last year was a poor race for me, and I felt it could have gone differently. And so obviously I'll be doing my best to make up for last year's losses, but it's totally different this year. Yeah, as we said before, we don't know how the race is going to pan out because the hard tyre is the one that we're all going to use at some point in the race, and no one knows if that would do the distance to give you a one stop or not. So there's that curveball in there.
Thank you. Another one.
Sahil Kapoor, NBC. Max, after Spain, you sounded a little bit downbeat on your championship hopes. Was that just heat of the moment? And after a day like today, do you feel like you're still in it?
Oh, just go race by race. I don't really look at that at all. I mean, even when I was in the championship fight or, leading, you're not consistently thinking about it. Just race by race. Try to always maximize everything. Yep, try to do the best you can.
Thank you. Another one.
Somto inside. A question for George. Montreal always test braking stability. How much confidence did you have on the brakes today, especially on turn 10?
Yeah, I mean, clearly feeling pretty good in the car, and always in these cooler conditions, it performs really well. And even if we're just comparing shoe sizes here, I struggle to get these in the car. So I'm lost now to what. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, look at these. Braking is no issue whatsoever. So, yeah, absolutely. No, so it's, as I said, when it is cooler, the car feels great, and it gives me that confidence. And even throughout the course of Q3, over the course of qualifying, from the start to the end with all the red flags, it was probably an hour and 15 minutes or so. The track cools down in that period, and it's no shock that we were quicker in Q3 than we were in Q1. And that is something we are, as a team, doing our utmost to try and improve, because, of course, we take the benefits from today, but not every race is like today, and we probably have 3 races where our car is in the sweet spot. But it's a 24-race season, and we need to find some improvements for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Anyone? Yes, more?
Max, Luciano from Diário Rio Claro, Brazil. Max, we've been driving close to the perfection this weekend. You've been pushing hard. And we all know how mentally strong you are, especially when you are under pressure. That said, how much of this performance of this weekend so far would you attribute to improvements in your car? So we're going to see that the other follow race. And how much is the Unleashed Lion with you?
Well, I mean, the car's been the same as Barcelona, but I do think that the team did a great job with. We arrived, the car was immediately in the right window. So setup-wise, I think the team did a very good job. And then, of course, it's fine-tuning about little bits, and then, of course, choosing the right tires for qualifying. But overall, I've been fairly happy with the car, which has been definitely a bit more hit and miss for us this season. I think we just also need to focus on just the overall performance that we maybe are lacking sometimes, but also sometimes we are chasing the balance of the car, so it's 2 different things. But this weekend I felt good, and that's why I'm also very happy to honestly be second today in qualifying.
Thank you.
It's on to me, SBN. Question for George and Oscar first. I know the penalty point situation got mentioned. Just how different is it to fight a driver when you know that there is that risk in play? And Max, I've got to ask, I know you responded to it earlier, but does this feel any different going into a race like this when you have that over your head? I mean, do you feel under any more pressure than you do normally? Okay, thanks. First question, then to the other 2. Thanks.
I mean, I don't think any driver goes out looking to crash into somebody and get penalty points on your license. So, Max is one of the best drivers. No reason for him to race any differently. And I'm not sitting here thinking he's going to give us more room. If anything, probably the opposite, to try and prove a point. So, I'll be keeping an eye. But ultimately, we're all here to win, and you're not going to do something that's going to jeopardize yourself from the race. So, it's a busy season as well, and if you get a race ban, you get a race ban, and you spend some time at home. It's not ideal, but, it's not the end of the world.
I mean, I think for me, I'm not going to race any differently. I'm not going to take any less risk, any more risk. Yeah, I'm certainly not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything different. So, race is always race.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Rodrigo França, Car Magazine Brazil. Question to Oscar Piastri. Oscar, we saw a different weekend for McLaren this season. It's been a dominance for the team. But I think it's a characteristic of Montreal, the circuit, or maybe Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari got closer to you?
I think we have struggled so far this weekend. I think in qualifying we we found our feet a bit more and it became a little bit more normal. But I mean, apart from maybe 1 or 2 races in qualifying, it's been very close a lot of the time. You know, today you had the added complication of the medium tyre versus the soft. And, you know, like George was saying, it's a track where they've been strong in the past. The conditions maybe suited them more. I mean, there's 1,000 reasons it could be. But definitely yesterday we were on the back foot. Even this morning, for myself in particular, was not particularly happy. And yeah, in qualifying, I think it's just, you know, the kind of normal battle, and that's a bit of the price you pay for not being on top of things from the start. You miss that extra half a tenth maybe, and that can be the difference. And you know, that's more or less what it was today. Obviously the gap was bigger than that, but again, with some other factors in there, I think we were in the mix but paid the price a bit of a slightly messy weekend.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you to all three of you. We will leave it there. Well done. Good luck tomorrow.